All right, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're doing well. On this Thursday afternoon, we're going to do a Rashi from the fifth Aliyah in Parshas Vayechi. In the fifth Aliyah, we continue the discussion of the brachos, the various blessings that Yaakov gives to his children, or what are called blessings to his children, which we discussed yesterday, really more prophecies or predictions of that sort. So the bracha to Yosef is quite extensive. It's perhaps the most extensive of all. It's the one which goes into a lot of detail. He's singled out for the double portion that he's going to receive in the land. He's singled out as the crown of all the brothers. And this gets into a whole other topic, which is the interplay between Yosef and Yehuda, these two models of leadership. This is something that happens in the beginning of last week's parsha in Vayigash. Yosef, who is really the crown prince, so to speak, of all the brothers, and the one who rises to power and to leadership in a certain way, is surpassed by Yehuda, who confronts him as the king. And according to our understanding and traditional understanding, it's at that point that Yehuda becomes the leadership model, or I should say the prime leadership model for the rest of the future of the Jewish people. That doesn't mean that Yosef totally loses his leadership quality. He remains a leader, but a secondary leader to Yehuda, who becomes the primary one. And this is reflected here in the brachos as well. The bracha to Yehuda, Gur Aye Yehuda, is considered the leader, like the lion of the whole pack. But Yosef also is singled out here as a leader, as someone who's different, who's raised above the rest of the brothers. This, of course, comes full circle. This is a whole shir for another time, but full circle in the time of Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David. This was the Haftorah from Yechezkel for last Shabbos, the Eitz Ephraim, the Eitz Yehuda, which eventually are merged together. The two are grafted together. The two streams of leadership are grafted together in the time of Mashiach to bring about the final redemption. But again, that's all evidenced already here in these brachos and the way they're laid out. But at the very tail end of Yosef's bracha, there's an interesting statement which is really more self-reflective than anything else. Yaakov is conveying to Yosef that he will be the one to receive all the brachos of the past, all the brachos of his ancestors. But he says over here, after telling him El Avicha v'Azrecha, that God is going to help you in certain kinds of ways, based on the way He'd helped me and those who came before me, he ends by saying, Birchos Avicha gavru al birchos horai ad ta'avas givos olam. Just comma. Tiena l'rosh lo yisev l'kud kod nazir achav. He's talking about the brachos, which we're going to come back to that first statement of the pasuk. But in the end of the day, Tiena l'rosh Yosef l'kud kod nazir achav. They'll be upon your head, Yosef, and they're going to be the crown that distinguishes you amongst your brothers. So that again is the capstone to his brachas, is singling out how he's going to receive the brachos of the ancestors, and they're going to be the crown on his head that distinguishes him. So Yosef, in some way, is being singled out. He's the leader. He's the inheritor of the brachos of the ancestors. But in describing the brachos of the ancestors, the relationship that Yaakov sees between the brachos he has, between the brachos his father and his grandfather had, he makes an interesting statement, which is, Birchos avicha gavru al birchos horai. The brachos of your father, meaning me, Yaakov, your father, have surpassed the brachos of my parents, of the previous generation, ad ta'avos kivos olam, until the ends of the earth, so to speak. Let's see how the English translate. The blessing of your father have surged upwards, blessings of eternal mountains, ta'avos kivos olam, the lights of everlasting hills. Okay. So he's somehow describing how his brachos are greater than those who came before him till the ends of the earth, the biggest hills, the biggest mountains, etc. So Rashi explains what he means here. The brachos that I've been given in my life, says Yaakov, are actually greater than the brachos that my father and grandfather received. How big? Ad tavos kivos olam, until the ends of the earth. The brachos I received have stretched to the ends of the tallest mountains on earth. The specific bracha that I've been given, sin Yaakov, is the bracha that explodes, that expands without borders, without mitzarim. Magas at arba kitzos ha'olam, they reach the four corners of the earth. Shenamar, because the bracha given to Yaakov in specific is ufaratz the yama Vakedba, Safona, Vanegba, Faratzta, Pritza. You will explode, you will expand north, south, east, west, all over the place, all four corners of the earth. Mashalone Markain Avram Yitzchak, that type of expansive bracha was never spelled out to Yitzchak or to Avram, to my father or to my grandfather. How do we know that? Avram Amar Lo, Sanai Nechoret Safona Vanegba, Ki Es Kol Haaretz Asher Atarei Lecha Tenena. Avram is also told to look in all directions, but only the directions because of the land that he was being given. Look over here, over there, north, south, east, west, because the land you see is what I will give you. That's the bracha given to Avram. Then, and Eretz Yisrael Bavad, where he was able to look was Eretz Yisrael. He was given a vision of the entirety of the land of Israel and said, this is the land I'm going to give you. So yes, he's asked to look in all directions, but not a faratzta, not a pritza, not an expansive bracha that just continues to expand in all places, but specifically looking in the directions of these borders of the land of Israel. Yitzchak, then what was Yitzchak given his? Es kol ha'aratzos ha'el v'akimosi, etc. V'zohi shamar Yishayahu achalticha nachlos Yaakov avicha v'lomar nachlos Avraham. So Yitzchak is given a little bit more of an expansive bracha, not just this land, but es kol ha'aratzos ha'el, all of these lands. But Yaakov is the only one whose bracha is spelled out as pritza, as expansive, and the only one who's told to look all over the place and to look even beyond the borders of Eretz Yisrael. So Yaakov is really expressing to Yosef here that as he conveys to him this ancestral bracha, he's making a side comment of the fact that the bracha he's passing on is greater than the one his father had, which is greater than the one his grandfather. There's a progression here to the brachos. Avram got the bracha of the land. Yitzchak got the bracha of all these lands, maybe a little bit more expansive. And Yaakov receives the bracha, faratz the yama b'kedma, the bracha of expansiveness to all over the place, to everywhere that can possibly exist on the face of the earth. There's a lot to say about that. The Gemara has a comment on this bracha of Yaakov, bli mitzarim, what it means, what it entails. But I think even beyond the specifics of it, just this perceptive comment that Yaakov has about how over the course of generations, the ancestral brachos grow is a very inspiring thought. We now live thousands of generations later beyond Yaakov, and we still continue to inherit these brachos. The brachos that we receive as a nation, as a people, as a family, as a tribe, continue to expand and expand and expand. We sometimes have to look and to recognize that, but we have to understand that these are not just passed down as is, but they're passed down and continue to snowball over the course of generations, which we're so fortunate to see. Thank you so much, everybody, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Be well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Shalom.
Bye. Shabbat shalom.